Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence. Today we're going to take a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Quick Kick. We're going to go over everything that we normally do. His articulation, his paint, his sculpt, and his accessories. But we're also going to do something that we always do if I have them. And we're going to compare it to the O-Ring Quick Kick, and we'll see how they match. But another thing that we're going to do that we normally don't do is I'm going to explain to you why Shang-Chi here, Shang-Chi however you pronounce it, the figure that we have been using as a stand-in for Quick Kick is now an absolute must-have in your G.I. Joe Classified collection. But we'll get into that when we're reviewing the figure. So let's quickly take a look at the box here. So we're here with the window package. We're going to be going away from this. Still have a window package, but it's going to look a little different. Here you have him with his screaming face. There's more of a little bit of the screaming, the whole body there. You have the QR code that, as we know, leads you to where? Hell, everyone. And then what is considered a file card. Again, he's number 116. I can't believe we're up to 116 already. And on the back here, we have him in the snow. And that sure looks like Storm Shadow in the back. And, wow. If you know anything about me, Quick Kick is not my favorite character, but hopefully the classified version is going to make me feel a lot different. So anyway, let's get into this and not get into this because no one wants to see that. But anyway, before we do, take a second, hit that like button, hit that bell notification, and hit that subscribe button. I set it out of order and it messes me up, but let's get to this. Alright, so we got him out of the package, and we're going to start off with the accessories that he gets. And first off, we'll start with the frozen fudgy bar that people were really excited to get. Yes, this is from the cartoon. They do incorporate some cartoon stuff in here, but I don't think they're really based fully in that lore. Actually, I know they're not, but I like a little accessories like this. It goes really far just with any type of figure. So, quickly looking at it, it looks like a Hershey's bar. You can tell that it has like the tin foil on the inside, the red wrapper. So there is a little bit of paint app to this. So, I mean, it looks pretty good. It's just not some, like, brown bar, which is nice. Here he has the throwing stars. So as he's throwing it, you can tell this is the actual throwing star. And this is supposed to be the movement that's going on there. And I think there's some nice detail to it. They really tried doing what Mezco does. I don't think they can, for the price, they probably can't get the same clear, translucent plastic that they want. It's also pretty pliable, but again, I don't think it looks that bad, and we'll mess around with it and see how it looks. He comes with 2 nunchucks. It's got the nice little brown right here. It's got what looks like some sort of snake maybe, or I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it is pliable. Hopefully it won't break. Now the whole thing is, but let's be honest, as long as it stays straight in his hand, you can kind of move it where you want it to be. And they're both the exact same. Brown handle, silver all the way across, looks pretty decent. You have 2 swords. One is already bent. And let's see about number 2. And 2 is also bent. So, once again, here we go, Hasbro. These are little things that we really shouldn't be dealing with. There's no reason for this to be that soft. Now, I don't really mind it. Oh, this ain't that bad. I take that back. But it does need to be heated and straightened. So, stuff like this. They could make it so the plastic packaging, it just fits in there. And it doesn't have to get the crinkle, get it out, right? Quickly looking at it, has the exact same. Again, I believe it's a snake. If I'm wrong, feel free to let me know. And the same brown handle, which I think looks really nice. It just gives you something different. 2 of the exact same swords. Now, the original, he only had 1 sword. And then we get a backpack. No paint apps on it. And again, just a buckle painted here and there. It really does make something like this pop. Again, I understand why they don't. Every time paint hits something, that costs extra money, and they are giving you a bunch of little itty-bitty things. Like this is going to have its paint app on it. This has 2 different paint apps. The swords do so. But it has nice detail to it. pouches, the pockets, the buckles all look nice, and it holds 2 swords. Now, looking at this, I would say when they come out with a Retro Jinx, this is probably what it's going to have. He comes with 3 sets of hands. So you have your karate hands, and then you have your 2 fist hands, and then you have trigger finger hands. Now, some people may get upset that he has trigger finger hands, but let's be honest, he is a Joe. You might have him picking up a weapon. He did in the Sunbolt commercial, so you do want to have him have trigger finger hands rather than just thumb wrestling hands or sword fighting hands. All right, and then we'll take a look at this face here. And I gotta say, it looks pretty good. There's not a lot of emotion other than he looks like he's about ready to fight. Maybe he's meditating. Eyes look good. Looking at the paint here, it doesn't look real bad at all. That's going to be very difficult for him to get the hair over the his little, I want to say bandana, it's not his bandana, his headband. But it does look good, and it has a nice little emblem right there. So, lips look good, nice nose, everything like that. So now let's take a look at the actual figure and what we have here. And Scarlet went tumble down. And so did Quick Kick, for that matter. So let's bring this back out. Let's raise this up, and we'll take a look at our Quick Kick and see how he actually fares. So, looking at the head sculpt here, this one, so the faces are minorly different. You have more of like a meditation face, or maybe, I'm not sure which one's meditation. They both look pretty docile, to be honest. But they are different. Maybe if you need to, you can, I don't know. All right. So we'll start off with the hair. Again, headband looks pretty decent there. You got the circle up top. Hair is good. There's no problems with that. And I don't see a lot of paint, if any paint, run over. So you have the headband, which is painted white. Hair is black. He now has a bandolier rather than what he had back in the 80s. And I'm fine with that. This is what I'm assuming is going to hold his backpack on. Again, imagination. Nice six pack there. He does have nipples, since I know that became a huge deal. Butterfly joints. They did give him, I believe they said this was wind. So if you want to paint over it, if it really bothers you, because it's not like the original 80s figure, you can paint over it. Going all the way down, you got his bare feet. He does have pegs. Now, if you're going to be doing side kicks, karate kicks, I will allow you to use stands. I won't get on your case about it. Looking at the belt, again, this here, you see how they just put a little bit of paint on it? That makes it pop. Now, the fact that you put paint there and you didn't just maybe make this blue like the original, I don't know. And on the back here, you're gonna have a spot for his nunchucks. I believe it is the exact same that nunchuck had. So let's take a look at his articulation before we get into everything else. So he looks up, looks down, head kind of moves a little bit there, side to side. Perfect T-pose. Bicep swivel. Nice pinless joints right there. Wrist will swivel. Ab crunch. Now I gotta say, he is pretty tight, which is good, right? Can turn back and forth. Now a figure like this, in my opinion, they really do need to be very, very mobile. Now he has butterfly joints. Now, do these butterfly joints actually work? Well, as you can see, he cannot cross his hands over. So I ask, what is the use of it? I don't think there's really a reason for it, right? It's unfortunate he can't hold the sword together. He has to hold 2 separate ones. It would be nice if they were holding them together, crossed over. All right. You got a perfect Jean-Claude Van Damme. Drop down hips. Nice and smooth. Thigh cut. Pinless knees. Ankle rocker. Boot cut. Then you have his feet, which are going to move back and forth. Same with this one. So no issues. I gotta say, the plastic on some of these, the plastic on these new figures feel really, really good. All right. So now let's compare them to the O-ring. And there we have them. All right. So the head sculpts are not going to be the same. Do not get mad about it. He has the same type of headband there. He does have the 3 throwing stars, but they run a little bit different. This one goes down into his belt, where this one is more of a bandolier. The belt, you can see, is pretty much the same. They gave him pockets on the side. They did not paint them blue. Now, they did give him some sort of wind design, which I know people don't like, but when they do a retro one, if they do, I'm sure they will paint it. And then he goes all the way down to his feet. There's not much to this figure, to be 100% honest. He has a gray bag, and as you can tell, it's very similar. A matter of fact, let's pop this thing off. Even though it only has 1 sword, and I do not have his nunchucks, so we cannot compare the nunchucks. Look at that. So it has the strap down the middle. You have the cover right there, or the flap. You have the pouches right on the side. 2 pouches on that side. And 2 pouches on that side. 1 sword that's going to go through. They made this much thinner. Again, they recreated the backpack only in red. So before people kind of complain about that, guess what? It is very similar. And then it comes to the swords. Again, it does have a little animal on the back. The swords are almost the exact same size, which is pretty funny. What's funny is that this thing here was also pliable, yet it doesn't stay bent. But there you go with that. All right, so quickly while we're doing this, we're going to arm him up, see how he looks, and then I'm going to get into the reason why your Shang-Chi, the one that has what we've been using as a stand-in, now, see how easy that comes out? Wristbands do not come off. Oh, I actually forgot to mention, he does have the wristbands, except they went with gray rather than black. So the fists, hands seem to pop off really easily. Here we have a fist hand here. And then we'll pop this one off. And we'll throw on a karate knife hand right there. And we'll move in and out, so you can have different types of posing. All right. Now I'm not going to use these because, oops, I want to throw on his trigger fingers, pop on the sword, see how it looks. So, all right, so on to Shang-Chi. I don't know the proper way to say it, but Shang-Chi, someone will correct me, I'm sure. It doesn't really matter. You know who I'm talking about. All right. So, JLS Comics, a wonderful, wonderful listen. Go check out JLS Comics and look up Quick Kick. And in the Action Force comic, not the Action Force that is owned by Bobby Valla, but the Action Force, which was part of Marvel or Hasbro, and then also Marvel Comics many, many, many years ago. So he's the head pop on and off. In the Action Force continuity, Quick Kick says that one of his masters is none other than Shang-Chi from Marvel. He also mentions a few other ones, but for all intents and purposes, many of us already have this. And many people already want to put it back into probably want to put it back into in your pile of figures, get rid of it, do whatever you guys do with it, right? If you don't know, this is how the nunchucks go up. Just kind of slide right up like this. And then he can carry everything on his person. So, he does mention that Shang-Chi is one of his masters. Well, that's not fun. But, and here's the reason why you want to keep him. I've never been a fan of Quick Kick. There's no way he could beat Storm Shadow. He's not better than Snake Eyes. He's not better than Jinx. I can go on and on, right? He was not part of the Arashikage. I'd rather never make him part of the Arashikage. But he still has to have a master. Now, if you tell me that from the Marvel Cinematic... not the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the Marvel Universe, that Shang-Chi, I'm going to slaughter that forever, is one of his masters. I now can believe that he has some actual ability where he can keep up with the Arashikage, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Jinx, Scarlet. Of course, she's down for the count right now. That makes me actually believe that they can actually do something. So I know for me, I'm going to have them together, maybe training. This guy's going to be more my trainer rather than anything else, because that's really, really what he is. So as you can see, I'm sitting here and I'm posing him. He's a very thin boy, right? That's the best way to make a Chinese star look like you are throwing it, right? Maybe cross the body like this while he's eating the fudgy bar. Now, does Super 7 have a quick kick coming out? If Super 7 has a quick kick coming out, you know what? You'll never be able to get him able to touch the fudgy bar to his mouth. So, yeah, I don't really know how I'm going to do this. That's going to take a little bit of ability to get him where you want. So, the other thing that I want to mention, all right, the detail on this is really nice. The feet here, now he does have the pegs. The one thing that I have noticed, and these figures are completely different. Hasbro cannot reuse the molds between Marvel and G.I. Joe and Star Wars and different things like this. I have the X-Men Legion also, who's also barefoot. For some odd reason, because he has no pegs, these guys stand absolutely amazing. I don't know if it's because you don't have anything flat, so it's not trying to sit flat. You have different portions here. So you have different pressure points that's actually able to get them to stand up. But I think it actually works pretty good. No, there we go. I can't really say that, and then I can't get them into a good position, right? Of course, I don't even know how to make this throwing star work properly. That's just going to be... That's going to take a little bit of time. So, there's my reason for keeping him in my G.I. Joe collection. And I will ask, if you are interested, check out JLS Comics. Again, he does some really, really good work, especially explaining the lore of some of these lesser-known characters and and a lot of the main characters. I know Storm Shadow's up there and different things like that. So I actually think this figure looks really nice. The detail on him is pretty good. He does have one hell of a ripped body, but for the most part, can't complain other than I'm not a big fan of Quick Kick. But I do like it more thinking this guy actually trained him. All right, let's wrap it up. All right, so my final first thought on this Quick Kick is I think it's a really nice figure. Plastic-wise, he feels really good. The articulation, the way he moves, he does not feel soft. Yes, the weapons are gummy in many ways. Not as bad as you might think. The nunchucks, yes, are, but actually that's the one I will give a pass, that they're gummy. Hands come off really easy. Head pops on and off. Again, I think there's a lot that you can do with this. Never my favorite character. You guys have heard how much I really don't like Shipwreck, even though I had numerous ones. This was a figure that I would say I liked less than Shipwreck. With all that said, I think they did an outstanding job with this, at least from what I'm seeing right away. So, it's your decision. But, hey, do what you need to do. All right, so there you go. Quick Kick is in the books. He's now part of the Joes. Do I need another one? No. Do I need a retro one on a retro card? Nope. I think that this one is just fine. If you're going to do something more where maybe you have him with shoes on, a coat on, something different, okay, just please, I'm going to ask, don't give me the exact same figure. I really don't need a second version of this. But this one, I'm fine with. Not bad. It's fun. Shang-Chi is going to work really well together. I know I say Shang-Chi, I say Shang-Chi, I say it wrong probably completely. But anyway, I'm done. I'm going to get out of here. But before I go, hey, listen. If you're on Instagram, take a second. A Punk with Toys. There's 2 of them. Follow them both. I do different things on both of them. I'm not trying to do always the exact same content. You've stayed here this long. Please, just take that second and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe video. And there's still more to come this year, but it is going to slow down. There's no doubt about it, but I always have content coming out. And last but not least, you've stayed here this long. Right up here, you don't want to leave. Up here is going to be Metalhead, and down here is going to be the playlist of all the G.I. Joe classified figures that I've done. Take care.